Hello, everyone. This is Kerry Desberg, Chief Marketing Officer with Impartner. We make partner relationship management software, and we are lucky enough to work with some of the coolest companies all over the world, from Xerox to T-Mobile to companies like Honeywell. It is my pleasure today to welcome our guest, Tim Schneller. He is the head of global channel marketing for Honeywell. Welcome, Tim. So glad to have you here.
Thank you, Kerry.
So the topic today in our Lessons from the Edge customer series, and this podcast is really focused on those best practices that we see our amazing customers around the world, how they're managing their channel and really taking it to the next level for their businesses around the world. And Tim, we have been continually impressed with how Honeywell really creates a personalized, customized partner experience for everyone who arrives on your digital doorstep. It's impressive. We often say that that all partners are gold for something, and the customers that we see who are the most successful really find a way to bring out the best in each of those partners. So is a big 30,000 foot start. Tell me, why is a one size fits most approach to creating a partner experience dangerous for your channel?
Sure. Well, first, I'd like to say I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you, Kerry, today about this topic. And we're on a journey, just like I'm sure every other business is that deals with channel partners. So we've made progress. We've got a long way to go, but our channel partners, they have to evolve to stay relevant and competitive. In this environment, they have private label options. They have global ecosystems that they can tap into. And when manufacturers come out and say, "Here is our channel program," if it matches, it matches. If it doesn't, we don't care. That causes our partners to go other places, right? And they're going to be successful with or without us in many cases, and they're in a position where they can do that. So that shift of power from the manufacturer to the partners is what kind of keeps me up at night as I try to figure out how can I take my one program that was traditionally the way that we manage things and make it work for everyone in a better way versus the one size fits most, which will get us into trouble.
Well, you've been a key part of the digital transformation of Honeywell's channel program. What did you see when you arrived that made you think that there was opportunity still being left on the table to take it to the next level? What challenges was the business facing, and how did you tackle that?
Sure. So we started our journey with a kind of world-class PRM like Impartner about 2 years ago. When I joined the company, we had our portfolio of channel partners that had a variety of nuances for those channel partners, whether it was a specific line of business, whether it was a specific region, and we had addressed those in many different ways. So we had upwards of 38 different digital touch points into our Honeywell ecosystem for our partners around the world. So we implemented the PRM solution to provide, ultimately to provide that single pane of glass for our channel partners to interface with us. But a challenge with that, of course, is not only the technology behind it, but also the business process and the thinking that goes with the transformation, and digitalization versus digitization. And that's really a key for this overall process, is focusing on how do business processes and how does business thinking need to change in order to be successful.
Well, what kind of challenges did it cause when you had 38 different systems? And I'll have to tell you, it sounds like such a big number, but we see that over and over again. What were the challenges that you saw that cause? And why do you think so many companies are still in that situation now?
Yeah, so I mean, the first challenge was someone asked me about my channel landscape. Who do I have where? It was really hard to tell. Because I didn't have a consistent database or a consistent way to manage the portfolio. So from our side, from an internal side, not having a complete view of our landscape and our portfolio was problematic. From a customer side, they don't know who to contact for what. They can't keep up with the reorganizations that we went through, with the different lines of businesses that we've launched, the different products, what goes where. So they were continually chasing how to contact us, how to get support from us, et cetera. And so, how do you solve those problems in a way that doesn't shut down your business and incrementally makes progress, at the same time that you're looking at the overall master plan of where you want to go over the next, say, 2 to 3, 4 years?
Well, we said at the beginning of this that, customization is, one size fits most is dangerous, and that your ability to configure is really a superpower. And I absolutely see that all the time. But what I see as much as anything is folks like you who have managed to lead a digital transformation. I think that's a superpower of its own in today's market, and it takes some kind of internal fortitude that I don't think a lot of people have. What's the secret? Like, what words of advice would you give to other channel leaders like yours who arrive in a company like yours and say, oh boy, where do I start? Well, how'd you do it?
Yeah, so I think the first word of advice is don't give up. There's many memes around that, but it is very complex. And any situation you get in is pretty complicated. And again, the changes that need to be made are often not in sync with the changes that can be made. In customization, we talked a little bit about that, and the reason why traditionally a company like mine might have a one size fit most is because we can't afford to customize. But the software industry figured this out, many years ago. They realized that custom code, it's almost immediately outdated. It can't be reused. It's hard to maintain. I mean, you can go through the list of why you don't want to customize your software. The same thing is relevant for channel programs. Every customized program I put out there, I have one-off calculations, unmanageable metrics. I can't consolidate my portfolio. The business wants to standardize. I mean, you can go down the list of why customize is bad. But yet, how do you reconcile that with channel partners who need programs that are relevant to what they're driving and their strategy? And that's really where I came upon, the requirement for us in our situation was a configured solution, right? And so we understand that configuring something is different than customizing something, and you can have a number of different configurations, and those configurations can then be managed in a consistent fashion.
Sage words, we see that all the time. SaaS is SaaS for a reason, right? That you want it to come out of the box and not have to customize it, and really be able to configure it to suit the needs of your business. And that really is where we see the nimbleness come in for you and other customers. I do know that for a system of record like ours that really touches so many systems and so many stakeholders in the company, from sales ops to channel marketing ops to IT, what are your words of advice on getting alignment with all those stakeholders in the company to get agreement to put a technology like Impartner in place? How'd you do that? How'd you get all your stakeholders lined up?
Yeah, so starting always with the customer first, or in our case, our channel partners first. Everybody understood the need for a single pane of glass. When you talk about 38 touch points into the company, people realize, the inefficiency that causes from, again, from our internal side of communication to the partners actually dealing with us. So convincing people that we needed a solution wasn't the most difficult, but aligning, to your point, aligning the stakeholders on which solution, what the solution would do, where the master is contained, how it connects with the other systems, et cetera, has been an ongoing and continues to be an ongoing journey for us. And the way that we approach this is, once we selected a solution, that really, I felt empowered my team, gave my team the ability to eventually develop that single pane of glass and configure a solution for our partners. Once we settled on that, it was a matter of incremental improvement on how we connected to our various systems, SFDC, Marketo, our website, et cetera, and incrementally making progress. So very much of an agile approach to this, both with the technology, but also with stakeholder buy-in. You can't tackle everybody all at once. You can tackle what's priority for your channel partners and, get certain things lined up that are important to them and make progress, but also set expectations, right? It's the agile development model where you're not coming out with the, spending 3 years developing this great program that people, eventually don't want. you're coming out with a program that can be tweaked consistently with partner feedback and with stakeholder feedback, right? Because the solution we have in place is not only has to empower and enable us to work with our channel partners, but internally it has to satisfy the needs that we have for metrics and measurement and reporting and all the different things that stakeholders want from a channel program or a channel portfolio. The solution has to enable both sides of that equation.
Agile approach, I like that, and yeah, that definitely was our experience in working with you, is not being afraid to not do it all at once, but really saying, hey, we're going to start here. And a lot of people from a sales standpoint talk about land and expand, and the fact that internally you landed and expanded and continued to build out the solution to meet your business needs. I think that's a great way for and great advice for a lot of companies who, if you're trying to take it all on at once, it can sometimes paralyze you. But if you take it bite by bite, it helps the organization get through it a little more easily and get through the eye of the needle. So when it comes to all the things that you do, there's so many things to do and so many things you can do to make a business better and to make your channel operations better. And I've talked with some other folks about that crazy paralyzing grid that comes out every year of all of the marketing and sales technologies that are out there. And how do you prioritize and how do you start? What's your advice to other Tim Schnellers out there who are saying, oh my gosh, where do I start? Well, why'd you start with a PRM? Why would you, what would be your advice to somebody else trying to make that priority decision?
Sure, and I think that's a great question, Kerry. I started my career a long time ago selling software and automation in the industrial space and working with traditional manufacturing companies. One of the only ways that you could sell a solution that was higher tech and maybe new was to focus on the outcomes. And so that's one piece of the equation, is what outcomes are you going to be able to achieve putting in a partner portal, putting in a PRM system. And it's a little bit easy to define those outcomes working with channel partners and saying, look, we want to have great access to our assets. We want to be able to process our MDF funds easily. You can see those outcomes and you can define those. But as I've talked kind of throughout our talk today about balance, you can't only focus on the outcomes that your partners will receive without focusing on the stakeholders internally. Internal stakeholders, they want cost reduction, they want revenue increase, they want things that make our business run better, not just a channel partner business run better. And balancing those two is really how we had to start. So on one hand, we had cost reduction targets because we were putting in an automation system. We were able to retire some of those 38 sites we've talked about. On the other hand, I had revenue generation, which our partners wanted leads. I mean, how many times, if you've worked with channel partners, have they complained that the manufacturer never provides leads to us? You don't help us grow. But we had lead generation and lead sharing capability that we were able to put in through the partner portal. So by focusing on what was important to both the partners, revenue, and both the business, cost, we're able to incrementally put in place modules of the partner solution that helps us get to our long-term master plan.
That's a good way, Tim, of thinking about how to get through that. It is a difficult decision. I really do understand that and know that that's pain, decision pain that so many people arrive on the doorstep with is figuring out what that priority is, and then of course getting all their stakeholders on board. So such great advice. I think I'd like to close with just coming back to the beginning of this discussion about the danger of one size fits all, and about the power, the superpower of really being able to customize to be able to create a personal partner experience. The pandemic, most have said it sped up things that are already happening, and I truly believe that. And who knows what period of time we're in? I mean, the short term's over, and I don't know what the long term is. We're in this dystopian midterm period, and it's cool to see a company of your size really be able to create that personal partner experience. How powerful has it been for you in the midst of all of this to be able to personally personalize what experience each of your partners have been able to experience from you as such a large corporation? Has that been powerful for you, and why?
Yeah, absolutely. And so being able to have have the personalized experience is something that's very important. And I mentioned earlier, we're on a journey. We've been able to implement some of the changes that we want, and more importantly, we have a foundation with our PRM system to implement more of the changes. But if you think about how I can get a configured experience to personalize that for the user at each channel partner, there's really two aspects of that I focus on. And one is segmentation. So I need to be able to select that user out of a vast group of users. We have tens of thousands of users in our PRM system, and I need to select that one and say, this is what I want to communicate to you. But then once I know what I want to communicate, I have to have the communication capability. And using partner news on demand function of the PRM, we're able to do that. So those two pieces of kind of segmenting and communicating, those are foundational to doing anything when it comes to launching out to the partners. And then secondly, as I think about what we're trying to accomplish in the program that we're putting in place, Honeywell PPE has a strategy. We're changing philosophies, we tweak our go-to-market. The situation that you mentioned with the pandemic has caused us to put in place a whole new response to COVID and with our healthcare products and solutions. And we're able to do that agilely because we have a partner portal where I can go in and say, okay, for healthcare, these are the changes that I need to make to get the most relevant information to the right people at the right time. So that platform is foundational to the changes that we need to make. Without this platform, we would not have been able to address that personalized need, and it would be more of the traditional cycle of, every year we come out with something, every quarter we change things, but now we can be much more adaptable. And, there's a quote that Maya Angelou made popular. She said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And as I think about the work that we're doing with our partner portal, it's not about that I launched pricing on a particular day. It's not about that I said that we would have this asset available, but it's how do they feel when they interface with Honeywell PPE, and having the ability to give them that configured and personalized experience, make them feel better than I know they did before, and hopefully better than they expect.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end this conversation, to hear such a big company be able to talk to each individual partner like a smaller company. There's such power in that, and you're absolutely right. The best brands connect emotionally and intellectually, and in a situation that we are all in for this unidentified period of time, to have the intellect of what you bring to the table combined with emotional connection that you're able to make to help your partners get through this with you powerfully. That's just, there's no better testament to the power of technology actually to automate, to humanize, and to really bring your business to life with your partners. So I think that's amazing. It's a great story, and wonderful lessons for everyone to follow. So Tim, it's really been a pleasure to have you on today. Very grateful for your insights. There's a lot to learn here.
Great. Thank you, Kerry. It's a pleasure talking with you.